And welcome back, everybody. Guess who's back and still black? Guess who's back? It's an interesting time to be alive. Let's see. Screen. All right, there we go. Guess who's back and still black? Guess who's back and still black? Brother Ron is the one. Howdy do. Hallelujah. Welcome, everybody, to the wonderful, entertaining, agitating edition of We All Be a News Free Dixie for the 21st century. I'm your brother, your host with the Moses. We love you, madly. Keep on producing and pushing. It's the artivist. And that was me at the old Dockery Plantation back in March of 2012. Let's see. Hello? Make sure y'all can still hear me. Hello? Yeah, okay, I'm coming in. Just making sure y'all can still hear me. I was at the old Dockery Plantation back in March of 2012. My tour guide was Sister Margaret Block, a legendary civil rights activist from the Mississippi Delta. She lived in Cleveland, her hometown, back in the day in 2012. Not Cleveland, Ohio, but Cleveland, Mississippi, which is not far away from Clarksdale, Mississippi. Uh, Off of Highway 61, of course, and you had the Dockery Plantation near both of them. The Dockery Plantation is a place that many people credit with being one of the most important places in blues history. Dockery Plantation was one time home of blues greats like the late great Charlie Patton, who is the father of the Delta Blues. Charlie Patton used to live there, as well as Howlin' Wolf, Tommy Johnson, and even Pop Staples. Yes, that Pop Staples was from the Delta. I'll take you there. So he was sitting with Howlin' Wolf and Robert Johnson, Tommy Johnson, Willie Brown, and Charlie Patton and Son House. All them blues greats came out of that way. But anyway, let's talk about some things tonight. No delay, no delay. I'm glad that we can talk about things right now. It's a lot to talk about. One love, we love you madly. Thank you. Message received. Thank you for tuning out to tune in again and where you're fitting in. Good people. Thank you so much. And I just want to touch base. A couple things on my mind. I'm trying to do better with this going live thing. I really don't think people need to hear from me, to be honest with you. There's so many voices out here. People talking some interesting things, unique things, and I'm just grateful to be a part of the narrative of the people who were the pioneers of getting providing a way for other folks to tell what they do, to do how they do. Somebody said, "Where had you been?" I've been. I gave some lives. I've been, life been lifing. I'm still around. Been doing things off the camera, off online. I've been offline doing things, and hopefully do more things online to inform you all. I got to do a better job of actually telling people all the things that I'm actually doing. And thank you so much. I appreciate the love, man. I needed that inspiration and salutations, all that good stuff, man. Thank y'all, and thank y'all for the donation. We love you madly. Somebody did a donation. Thank you. I think it's Al Great Dad. Hey Al Great Dad, we love you madly, bro. Thank you for the consistency. And I want to be consistent as well. I appreciate that. I've been trying to keep myself up. It's gonna be a hot unk summer. Hot unk summer, man. But anyway, I want to talk about a couple of things been on my mind. I know it's been on your mind. And people be asking me, well, what do you think about so and so? And I promise y'all that Sinners movie review will be coming up very soon. I'll be doing the Sinners movie review before the 4th of July. So definitely gonna be doing a Sinners movie review. My take on the movie, some things that I think people missed on the movie, some things that people should be talking about as it relates to the movie that was out for full display. But also, I want to talk about what's going on with black men in this country, like how black men and boys and males, whatever, are being made examples for everything that ills society. This is the year of the black man. This is centennial year of the black men. Centennial birth year of Malcolm X, Robert F. Williams, Medgar Evers, centennial is coming up July the 2nd, and so many other black men that I didn't mention, who have centennial birth year. France Fanon, I think it's centennial year. He was born in 25. Eddie Knoll, who I talk about on this channel, born in 25. Very interesting year to come in as a black man. And even knew lost jazz great Roy Haynes. I went to one of his birthday parties in his 90s back in 2016, interviewed him. He would have been 100 this year had he made it. He passed away last fall. So what I'm saying is this is interesting how this attack on black men, on black manhood, on masculinity, and masculinity in general. But we're going to talk about a couple things. Like what I want to talk about right now is the Diddy situation. The defense and the prosecution they rest their case, whatever, last week. We should be expecting a verdict before the 4th of July or the 4th of you knew, the 4th of you knew you lied. The 4th of you knew you lied. We should be expecting a verdict. It's interesting. Basically, like, I listened to Dr. Umar Johnson on Art of Dialogue. Shout out to Dr. Umar Johnson, the Art of Dialogue. He basically saying that he is hard to call. Like he's saying basically it's 8 white people on the jury because he included Hispanics and the Asian as being white. And a lot of times they do see themselves. I mean, white, Hispanics, Asians, they see themselves as white. As a group. They the white minority in this country. Hispanics be classified as white. Like Dr. John Henry Clark said, we have no friends. If you look yourself in the mirror and you don't recognize that person as a friend, we do not have friends. Black folks have no real allies. Just with the ICE protests and all this stuff, and people criticizing black folks for not putting their bodies and minds and spirits on the line this time. We always been putting ourselves out there for other people, but rarely do people reciprocate the favor, and that's a problem. And I'm glad brothers and sisters are waking up and rising up by sitting down and sitting out this one. This is very important because, like I tell people, until Black American natives get our reparations, till we get it all. Because, like, what's interesting as I get older or seasoned, I just saw the Cotton Club movie that Francis Ford Coppola did back in the day. That's the guy who did the Godfather trilogy, Apocalypse Now, one of the greatest film directors of all time, and screenwriters as well. And he did a movie called The Cotton Club that I guess was like a passion project for him as well. That came out in the early 80s. It was a box office flop, but it has aged well as far as I'm concerned. All-star cast, Bob Hoskins, Fred Gwynne. I think the name dude played in the Monsters, the Frankenstein Monsters. I think it's Fred Gwynne, whatever. He had Richard Gere as Dixie Dwyer, who was a hybrid between jazz cornet legend Bix Beiderbecke and acting legend George Ralph. And you had Nicolas Cage, who is the nephew of Francis Ford Coppola. He played Mad Dog Dwyer, who is based on Mad Dog Vincent Cole. I think it's Vincent McCole or McCole. He was a guy that was a hitman for Dutch Socialist enforcer. So I mean, it was interesting. But like, it was Gregory Hines was in there. He played Mr. Sandman. His brother was in there. Tap dancing legends. A lot of tap dancing legends were featured, and it took place in the Cotton Club. The Cotton Club used to be owned at one point by heavyweight champion Jack Johnson. Then it became owned by, it was called, I think, the Deluxe Club back in the day. And then Oni Madden, the Irish gangster, took over the Deluxe Club and made it known as the Cotton Club. Famous club where black folks perform, but they could not watch their own people perform on stage. Like, if you were black, the only time you in that club was when you're performing or serving white people. When you were performing for white people and serving white people. So they would not let black folks even enjoy their own treasures. It's just interesting. But like, when I saw the movie earlier this morning, it hit me that it really wasn't about white people. It was about black people and how we was treated in America, how we were the truly gifted. We were the gifts for America. Black American natives are the best thing that happened for America. America would not exist without Black American natives. And it took an Italian American to make that point known, the culture. Like he featured, like, he had Duke Ellington, Cab Calloway, Ethel Waters, all them greats. You had Lynette McKee, light skinned, high yellow, good looking sister. Her character was based on Lena Horne, who could pass for white, but she was a race woman. She loved her people, and she fought, civil rights. I mean, she really was a big fan of Medgar Evers, from my understanding. I don't know if Medgar Evers smashed. I don't. It's not. If he did, it did. It's not important. But I'm saying she really loved Medgar Evers. Medgar Evers, the centennial's coming up. He got assassinated June 12th, 1963. So we just acknowledged that not too long ago. But his centennial is coming up. So what I'm saying is, y'all should check out the Cotton Club movie, because it's not about really white people, it's about black people. And I didn't know that until I watched it today. Uh, just being 45 years old, I look at the world differently as it relates to black people. And then I made a mention that we need to do a show about Black Americans' contributions, Black American natives' contribution to the American Revolutionary War. That war was won because of black people. There's a shame there's only, I think, one base named for black people, and that's the base that used to be named Fort Lee. It's named after very worthy brother and sister. The sister, Tyler Perry did a movie about her when she was over like the post, doing the postal service during World War II with the black sisters. That's based on an actual woman, and it was a brother. And my thing is, if they're gonna bring back naming military bases after the Confederates, they should at least name it after real patriots who were black. And you should start with the patriots of the American Revolutionary War, people like Crispus Attucks, who was the first person to die for the cause. He was like a victim of police brutality. He was like what y'all try to make George Floyd be like during the summer of 2020. Crispus Attucks, was the real deal. And also, you look at the soldiers of the American Revolutionary War. You look at people like let's see, the Peter Salem. I think it's Peter Salem. I mean, being right, I be having a lot on my mind. I want to get this stuff right. Honor our ancestors, right? Yeah, people like let's see. Yeah, Peter Salem, Salem Poor, and James Amistad Lafayette. James Amistad Lafayette is interesting because he really won the war for America. James Amistad Lafayette was a double spy. He was a slave, but he was a double spy. He worked both the Americans and the British, gave up very important intel to the American side, to the Continental Army led by George Washington, which led them to the major victory in winning the War of Independence. And it was him. It was a black man that did that. The Marquis de Lafayette was a big fan of John Amistad Lafayette. He knew the value of who he was. So we got to acknowledge our heroes and sheroes who put it down for the cause. And also, I just learned about a brother named Colonel Ty, who fought for the British side. He fought for the British side, but he really was fighting for the side of black liberation. Brother born out of Jersey. Born in the Providence of Jersey, whatever, the colony of Jersey. Brother was a badass. The brother led a group of black soldiers. They went in raiding slave plantations, freeing black people, imprisoning sometimes the leading slave owners. This was like the real Django Unchained, for real. This was like it could be like a Quentin Tarantino movie where he reinvent history, and this brother was the real deal. This brother was a beast. Colonel Ty, look up Colonel Ty. That's Colonel, like Kentucky Fried Chicken Colonel, and then it's Ty, Tye. Look up Colonel Ty. So we're gonna do a show that talks about Black American natives' contribution to this American experience and project. But he died at the age of 27. Unfortunately, he didn't get killed by them, but germ warfare. I guess he died from an infection. But for you, 27. But I just learned about him just a couple of days ago, Colonel Ty. So there's so much, like President Harry Truman would say, the only thing new is the history that you don't know. That's the only thing new. That's the only thing new. They said the stream went blank. I'm still here. Y'all still see me? And I was talking through. I don't know. Let me know if y'all can. Let me see. Let me know, anybody in the chat, if y'all can still see me out here. If y'all heard anything. I was going in. Interesting times we living in. Okay, thank you, Underground Raw. I'm good. Okay, well, I'm saying, okay. No, I was talking about the American Revolutionary War. You said I'm good. Okay, thank you so much. Also, speaking of, let's talk about the Diddy case before I get too carried away. The Diddy case is interesting. Like I said, like, basically, Dr. Umar just said, basically 8 white people on a jury, 4 black people. According to him, I have not actually been keeping up with the actual trial. I've been looking at the responses, excuse me, and reactions from people. It's kind of hard to read. Now, if I was a juror, based on what I heard and read, he will walk. This is not a RICO case. This is a freako case. Excuse me. It's a freako case, but not a RICO case. Rico ain't never invited to a freak off. You never invite Rico to the freak off, baby oil or not. This is a freak old case. This is about gossip stuff. This is gossipy stuff that they're revealing in court. Nothing that says Rico act or organized crime or anything like that. And like I might Dr. Umar Johnson, Diddy should be rewarded based on keeping his mouth shut. Because had he got on that stand, you know, no telling what he would have said. And like a lot of lawyers will advise their clients not to take the stand. No, OJ did not take the stand. He had the dream team. But I think the rapper Hurricane Chris in his murder trial, he did take the stand and he won. And he said, if my life on the line, I'm gonna make sure it's in my hands. If my life is on the line, it's in my hands. So I can feel that. I can feel him. I can empathize with that. But a lot of lawyers will advise their clients not to take the stand. Diddy did not take the stand. The defense did not call any witnesses. There was no need. Basically, what I heard is a bunch of gospel. It's nothing criminal per se outside domestic violence. It was wrong him dragging the girl, even if she liked it, may have liked it allegedly. Because some women like it rough. I've met educated, accomplished women who told me that if a man did not put his hands on her, he did not love her. Like if they wasn't fighting, I mean, there's no love in a relationship. That's very toxic. So you got people walking around here very educated who are very, very toxic, and they like certain things. They think pain is love. So there's some people out there like that. So as far as like Diddy, Cassie is interesting because stuff that I heard coming out that she actually enjoyed. She enjoyed it, like doing the freak offs, and she participated. She was like the point guard or quarterback in some sessions. It sounded like people said she's a victim. It's kind of hard for me to look at her as a victim. People say she's a victim because she's been groomed and stuff. It's kind of like it reminds me of Patty Hearst. I don't know if y'all can recall the Patty Hearst. I mean, maybe a lot of y'all can't recall because it may have happened before you was born. But look up when Patty Hearst was kidnapped by the SLA, the Symbionese Liberation Army, and people thought she was a victim. Then they saw her in photographs and cameras and stuff, video, whatever, film robbing banks with the SLA. But they said she had Stockholm syndrome, like she was under their influence and she was groomed and whatnot to do those things. And my thing is, was it bro Holly said, brother Ron, what up, bro? We love you madly. Cassie was a freak of the week and it's all come. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like the Patty Hearst thing. When does the victim becomes the participant or becomes the oppressor? When does the oppressed become the oppressor? It's like people say if she was groomed, I said we all grown. As soon as we born, we program to move a certain way in society. We are groomed, we are programmed, we are indoctrinated. I don't think Diddy did more grooming and programming than society did, because you still, even when these type of stories come out about Hollywood, you still got people want to be stars. You understand? You still got people that go to the freak off or the casting couch to get that lead part to become a star. So my thing is Diddy ain't the monster. The system is the monster. Frankenstein wasn't the monster. Dr. Frankenstein was the monster. They implemented the system. So to say that she was groomed out but she was legal. Was she about 19 or 18, whatever? Some states consensual is 17. Let's say if R. Kelly just stayed in New Jersey, I think the age of consent in New Jersey is 17. He may not be in prison for RICO, but it's never about the crime. It's never about the crime. As far as comes to this type of stuff, this is about other stuff. And with the Diddy thing, I mean, it's like, gossipy stuff. They have not proved he was a kingpin. The Mann Act needs to be taken out the books. It's outdated. And really, it was formed for nefarious reasons to entrap black celebrity men like Jack Johnson, the first black heavyweight champion, like P. Diddy, like R. Kelly, and all this stuff. Because like you can't tell me this is about justice, because my problem is he should walk. I don't know what he did with as it relates to Biggie and Tupac. I heard things over the years, but he's not on trial for Tupac and Biggie and whatever else he may have done. He's on trial for allegedly being a sex kingpin trafficker, and they have not made their case. I really do believe that they raided his homes to get evidence of the elites behaving badly. The elites, the people that he answered to, the people that he used to gatekeep for. They were getting evidence from his homes so he couldn't have leverage. But I'm sure that Diddy got a dead man switch somewhere. He definitely know where all the bodies are buried, but you can't act like he invented this whole thing. Shit, Nancy Reagan, they call her the throat goat in Hollywood. That's the first lady. She was known allegedly, from what I heard, as the throat goat. Her her godmother was a famous silent film actress that owned real estate in LA. And they used to do, they make Diddy freak outs like it was just child's play. They were doing things that was, and don't get me started about Earl Flynn, the stuff he was doing. You talking about some R. Kelly and Diddy stuff that guy was doing. And it's not just him, it's so many stories. And but Nancy Reagan, she came out that school. Her look up who her godmother was. Matter of fact, let me look it up for y'all. See, it's a game. It's a game. A lot of us don't know how to play. But I came to play. hmm Look up. And it's funny how they could try to look it up. Let me look it up on here. But what I'm saying is, it's a joke. Like they were saying back in the 80s, Nancy Reagan and Ronald Reagan, them just say no to drugs. What's Iran Contra? They were dumping all these drugs and stuff into the black communities or neighborhoods across the country, and they blame a functional illiterate black dude from South Central as the kingpin, the mastermind behind all this, when it really was the White House and the CIA. Not necessarily Reagan, but maybe George H.W. Bush, former CIA director, was over that operation along with the CIA. The biggest dealers on the planet is the CIA. It's not Poo Poo or Ray Ray or them on the block who live with their mama and them. It's not them. But the biggest dealers is the government. Just like Dr. King said, the biggest purveyor of violence on the planet is my own government. The biggest purveyor of violence on the planet is my own government. So what I'm saying is this stuff been going on forever. I know a sister who's a very successful media studies professor. I went to college with, and she was trying to make it out in Hollywood. And I mean, she had the resume, she had the connections, she had the family. She had prominent members in her family, were doing pretty well in the media business and the arts and stuff like that. And I remember I saw her in one of her birthday parties. I asked her what happened, like why you back east and not out in Hollywood. And she told me, Ron, the problem was that although I had resumes and connections and whatnot, all they want to do is sleep with you. They want to do sexual favors for you to get ahead. They want you like, yeah, I know you got all that, but what's good with that math though? What's good with that? What's good between your legs? What's the value of the real estate between your legs and stuff like that? So she wasn't willing to sell her soul for a little piece of gold. So she went back east, went back to college, got a doctorate, and now she's a college professor on a tenure track who's got a book coming out from my understanding, and she's doing pretty well where she at. She loving life. So I'm trying to find. It's like now, like when you type in Nancy Reagan's godmother, they don't want to show her. Let me see. Type in another phrase. I think it's important. Okay, it's Allah Nazimova. That's her godmother. That's kind of, y'all ever heard about Barbara Bush, George W. Bush's mom, George H.W. Bush's wife? They said she's actually a love child of Aleister Crowley. Like her mom was over in England, whatever, back in the day, and she kind of made her ran across Aleister Crowley, and that's his daughter is Barbara Bush. I don't know if y'all ever heard of that, but it's like Obama people. You don't know who these people really are, man. This is who they want us to believe they are. Trying to show uh picture of Nancy Reagan's godmother. See, trying to show a decent picture. So I can understand the power game that we in. Cause a lot of times these elites, they practice a thing called sex magic. I don't know if y'all ever heard of the term sex magic. It's a ritual that people use sex to manifest things. Sex is used to manifest life. Think about it. You use sex magic to manifest babies, but people use sex magic for different things. It's all about energy, because energy never dies. How you utilize energy to get the things that you want. So I'm trying to find a picture of this lady. It's interesting. Uh-huh. Life is interesting. This is We All Be News Free Dixie for the 21st century, as y'all already know. Make a bigger picture. Make a picture. Okay, I guess that's good enough. I'll pull this picture of Nancy Reagan's godmother and say little things about her as well. Thank y'all for tuning out to tune in to get in when you fit in. We all be in it to win it. I think I can make this picture. Can I make this picture bigger? I don't know if I'll make it bigger. Is it possible to make it bigger? Zoom, 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 zoom. Okay, I think that's big enough. But that's Nancy Reagan, future first lady. That's her godmother. She was a freak. She was a queen of the freak offs. You talking about freak offs? She had epic freak offs at her real estate in L.A. And let's talk about that. Cause they had to be like, Diddy's over for Diddy. Diddy's messed up. He can never bounce back. Okay. Let's talk about what she was into. I'm trying to find this information. She had a place called the Garden of Allah. Okay, it's called the Garden of Allah. About to get deep into this. Okay. Okay. So the Garden of Allah, Nazimova's private lifestyle gave rise to widespread rumors of outlandish and allegedly debauched parties at her mansion on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood, California, known as the Garden of Allah, which she leased in 1918 and brought outright the next year. Facing near bankruptcy in 1926, she converted the 2.5-acre estate into a hotel by building 25 villas on the property. The Garden of Allah Hotel opened in January 1927, but Nazimova was ill-equipped to run a hotel and eventually sold it and returned to Broadway and theatrical tours. By 1930, the hotel had been purchased by Central Holding Company, which changed the name to the Garden of Allah Hotel. When Nazimova moved back to Hollywood in 1938, she rented Villa 24 at the hotel and lived there until her death. So Let me find out more about Garden of Allah, because this is the PG version from Wikipedia. Let's find out more about Garden of Allah. Said debauchery. So they didn't have social media back then, so people couldn't self-incriminate themselves or self-snitch or dry snitch. But let me see. But you get an idea. It's a movie called, what's that movie that came out that makes a perfect, see, was it Babylon that came out? I'm gonna just wrap away from that. Was it Babylon? The Babylon movie? Yeah, the Babylon movie has a great, it opens with all that debauchery, like what we know as freak offs because of Diddy. It shows all the stuff that it was into. There's always been Hollywood sex magic and all that stuff. So I just want to show you a picture of Nancy Reagan's godmother, who was the queen of the freak offs. And they said Nancy Reagan was allegedly the throat queen. I don't know. This is like the joke, the running joke, whatever. But anyway, to each their own. But I'm just saying that Diddy has not set no type of precedent when it comes to freakiness. He's just a freako. He's not a Rico. He's a freako. So Ian, moving on to Tyler Perry. Yeah, somebody make a good point. Like, how did Hugh Hefner die peacefully after being known for years having freak offs? Exactly. Hugh Hefner allegedly working for them people, man. It's like called it by Epstein. Like, you use people normally when they have setups like that, it's to catch people in compromised situations. So it could be used as blackmail to keep folks in check. See, when they let you have power, you don't have full power. They have checks and balances. Like, you could become president, but don't get too out of hand because we got stuff on you, type of stuff. So basically, Hugh Hefner, I believe he was collecting blackmail info to be used against people at a later date. You think about the fact that Hugh Hefner, like you said, died peacefully, but yet Bill Cosby has caught all types of hell. And he used to meet folks at Hugh Hefner's place, from my understanding. Hugh Hefner was a meeting place for a lot of people to get their freak ons and freak offs. But that's what I'm saying. This Diddy thing is not about what people think it's about. This is about some demonic stuff. They getting get back. Like, same thing with Diddy. Diddy took on a powerful liquor distributor, if not the most powerful liquor distributor in the world. Won an out of settlement out of court, and look what happened to him since that time. I remember a couple years back that Diddy and Jay-Z, of all people, were on some type of award show talking about it was time for the music industry to pay the black pioneers to stop exploiting black people. And look what happened to him a couple years later, especially Diddy. They tried to get Jay-Z, but Jay-Z too smart. He too strategic. He knows how to move. You got to think about Jay-Z was the cat that was in the elevator. He allowed Solange to beat him up, to hit him. He knew the cameras were watching. He was no stupid idiot. It's gonna be hard to get Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? And he fought, and people said he shouldn't have said nothing. Yeah, I can relate to a person accusing you of something. I don't care about no legal advice. I'm gonna speak my piece because that's my name. So I can understand him coming out the way he did and people critiquing that. But hey, it works. And not to mention, his wife fan base is like they better than the Secret Service. They very protective of Beyonce and her family and all that stuff. So I mean, Jay-Z just moved different, man. God bless him. But get him on some real stuff. But with Diddy situation, I believe because he pissed off them liquor distributors. And then he talking about, organizing black people. Whatever you think about Diddy, Diddy had, for most part, even if it was misguided, whatever, he did the rock the vote thing 20 something years ago. Diddy always got something to say about something. He tried to be about that black power stuff. I don't know. Black power gangster. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, it's like when soon as Tyler Perry said, I made more black millionaires in Hollywood than anybody else or any entity. That's when they go out to Tyler Perry. Remember one of his executives or so got killed in the plane crash earlier this year? This year he got killed in the plane crash, or was it last year? So much stuff has happened But anytime a black person say something that kind of disrupts business as usual, or do something that disrupts business as usual, they become a target. Like Tyler Perry. Let's talk about Tyler Perry. People last week or a week ago was defending his straw thing. Let me get this off the screen. Yeah, I agree. You said they all knew what they were doing. They all knew the reputation of Diddy. They all are adults, and not exactly. Because like the indoctrination thing, we all been indoctrinated from birth. We all been groomed to behave or respond a certain way in society, as well as in personal life. Yeah, you got to take some accountability at one point, but also, people wanted to be there. From my understanding, women were fighting for their spot to be in Diddy's rotation. He was paying these women. He was paying these men. He was grown people. And so my thing is, where's the crime? And this case has not proved, but then, we're in 2025 where you had an all-white jury just basically let the former officers who beat to death Tyree Nichols walk not guilty as far as the state level case goes. So, I mean, anything can happen. It's wild. Then, like Dr. Umar Johnson said, you got people that may be, because you got this majority male jury that Diddy is dealing with. You got these privileged white men who feel like maybe there's too much power for a Negro to have, a black man. Like, I dare he to be successful, more successful than me with more resources. And, he had billionaire status at one point, and he still got resources. But you see some white folks that yeah, man, we got to teach this Negro a lesson and put him in his place. So you got a way of thinking in America and moving in America, which is interesting. But even with the Tyler Perry thing, based on what I heard, and people say, I haven't been, haven't read the text messages. People, quoting what was in the text messages. I mean, I guess you can't flirt with people no more. Flirting is out the question. It's like, women talking about men don't hit on them no more. I be seeing beautiful women, and I said, I ain't gonna say nothing. Because that could be misinterpreted, and you could be, me tooing and all this crap. And I don't believe all women just because they're women. I don't do that mess. I guess y'all believe Carolyn Bryant too, huh? And you got to be careful how you move. You got to be strategic. I think look at Cosby and Tyler Perry. Their problem was that the people that they alleged was dealing with, they did not make them stars. If they had been made stars, they probably never faced some of these accusations. But I mean, what the Tyler Perry dude was weird, because he talked about how Tyler Perry, got in bed with him the first time. He came back a second time. I mean, I guess he was a victim too. I mean, he came back a second time after Tyler Perry made him uncomfortable the first time. He came back to his house a second time, and they having text message discussions. You still working? But I think what it was, he didn't get all he wanted to get out the deal. And it is, well, you gotta be careful, man. Gotta be careful, because I think that what happened to Cosby, he promised these women stuff and then work out for them. They become bitter, and they want to just take down everything you built. Like I said, this has always been the play in these type of industries, these power dynamics and stuff like that. Sex is a powerful bargaining chip in these situations. It's a ritual. Like I read some more of Janis Joplin. When she signed a contract, the way she sealed the deals to have sex, she had sex with the people she did contracts with, allegedly, with some of the people, like, as a way to seal the deal. Like, oh yeah, on top of that, you get this WAP. You get the WAP and the GWAP. Get the WAP and the GWAP, man. G unit. So Tyler, boy, these folks, when will they learn, man? This ain't your game, bro. Y'all didn't make the rules. Don't you know they'll change the rules while you're winning? Same thing with Bill Cosby. I want to get a network. What they do? Not only do they not give him a network, but they eliminate his son. Try to buy another network. What they do? They put him in prison on some trumped up bullshit or stuff. So I think you look at anything, Tyler Perry getting too big, trying to be bigger than Hollywood, got his own studio, and putting black folks in position to earn wealth and status at the same time. That's a problem. Bill Cosby want to own his own network to promote positive black images in a negative industry as it relates to the black image. It's a problem, my man. It's too much power for one Negro to have, especially a black man. And you look at Diddy, I take on the liquor distribution people, want to control my destiny, self-determination, da da da. No, no Diddy. R. Kelly, I want my masters, publishing, whatever. Stop paying these people checks. The checks stop coming. Then law start knocking. Checks stop coming. Law start knocking. He in prison on some RICO BS. Why is he the only person in prison on RICO? He supposed to have a criminal organization? Because this stuff, RICO's thing was really based about getting mafia people, like, you know, the Coastal Nostra, this thing of ours, the five families, the commission. This was not about getting some celebrity musician with his groupie harem. This is crazy. Like, you know, R. Kelly wanted to do what Hugh Hefner did, but Hugh Hefner is white, or he was white. My thing is, it's weird. I don't agree with this just us system. I don't think that any black man should be facing all this stuff unless their white counterparts are facing. Unless Clyde Davis gonna face it. Unless Hugh Hefner, dig up Hugh Hefner like Oliver Cromwell and put him on trial, like they did Oliver Cromwell. Dig him up, put him on trial. They did one of the popes like that. They dug up the remains of the pope, put him on trial. These people crazy, and y'all want to be around them all the time. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting. And case in point, I want to bring this up. This is interesting. People are talking about this. This is insane. Living in the same times, boy. I want to share what one of our Board of Education members said about the passing of Fred Smith, the founder of FedEx. And Tawana Murphy, she's a very controversial figure in Memphis politics. Unique character. She's definitely a character. Former protege of the late great Thaddeus Matthews, Thaddeus Augustus Matthews, the cussing pastor. I want to share what she said about Fred Smith passing recently and the backlash she got from it. And I'm going to give my spiel about it. Let me see. And this We All Be News Free Dixie for the 21st century. One love, baby, baby. Now, this was Tawana Murphy shared about the passing of Fred Smith. See, I got to make sure I got it big enough. Yeah, it's big enough. Is it big enough? It satisfy you? Yeah, it satisfy y'all. She said, I worked for FedEx for 8 months. And one day I checked the assistant manager. Check means like insult the dozens. I know that's a Memphis thing. What I didn't know was my mic was on and every manager and CEO heard me cut up sideways. I knew I was fired, but they were too busy laughing because I called her a black chia pet with a side part and a jerry curl looking SSA, running backwards. I knew I was good and fired. My manager, Ron Brooks, couldn't even write me up because he was too busy laughing. His manager stated that Mr. Fred Smith overheard me and said, "What did she call her?" Rest well, Mr. Smith. They trusted me enough to move cocaine and weed and cash off the trucks. Thank you. They said they trusted me enough to move cocaine and weed and cash off the trucks. Thank you. So people got upset about that. Very much in their feelings about that. And I thought, I read it. And I was like, what? What? And I read it again. Read it some more. Oh, okay. I got you. Got you, Tawana. But people were upset. They were calling for a head, calling for a resignation. And like, she's a very colorful, controversial figure. Like, she's a Jackie of many trades and all that stuff. And she's very opinionated. But I said she was trained by Thaddeus Matthews. That was his girl at one point. It fell out. It is what it is. That's life. But she even was a blues recording artist at one point. She just do a little thing on TV doing commentary, stuff like that. But what I want to say is I actually had no problem with her saying what she said. I thought she was being authentically herself. She took the post down. I would have kept the post up. And she made her rounds, even went on local television, apologizing, saying that people misinterpret what she said. I understood what she said. And there's really no need to apologize, to be honest with you. But, people, they worry about their little positions and stuff like that. And, she made enough powerful enemies for them to go off on. I'll show a picture to Tawana Murphy. Interesting character. This is a character. We got a lot of characters in Memphis. So we all be news free dicks for the 21st century. This is Sister Tawana right here. Very gifted, endowed with a lot of gifts. She's very, very gifted and endowed with a lot of gifts. And then let me see if I can find something. Let me see. That's her too. A little playful self. This is actually doing our induction to the 300 special group of people, 300 moral leaders. Shout out to Cam McKenzie and the House of McKenzie. So this is back on April 4th, 2021. We was wearing, we supposed to be social distancing and wearing masks, and then we had to wear a certain color mask. And so she was being playful right there. But my thing is, I saw no harm in what she said. I really don't, because the situation is that people are weird at selective outrage, especially when it comes to certain type of people. Like, I piss off people all the time. I just found out that a lot of folks don't like me in Memphis. I didn't realize that until a couple weeks ago. I've been dealing with it. I'll be all right. But the thing about it is, she didn't really say anything wrong. That was her department duty, because people send everything through FedEx. That includes legal stuff as well as illegal things, illegal contraband, including drugs and weed and all that stuff, illicit gains that comes through FedEx. I mean, FedEx is one of the biggest couriers on the planet. But anyway, I did think that she made a lot of powerful enemies, and just want to see her gone because the way she is in public, and she's just being herself. And my thing is, it's funny to me how people can have such harsh criticism for Black people, whether they act the part or don't act the part. My thing about Fred Smith is the fact that Fred Smith, he actually killed people by accident. From my understanding, he was involved in two vehicle accidents. One was a hit and run. A handyman died, and nothing came of that. From my understanding, with my research, he had bond for $250, and he was able to beat that. And then I guess he was home from college, whatever. On the way to the lake, car flipped over, killed the passenger in the seat. So he had two civilians that died at the hands of Fred Smith. And I'm not saying this to disparage Fred Smith or his legacy. What I'm saying is, he was able to redeem himself through his work. Whatever may have happened with those vehicle tragedies, he was allowed the chance to be redeemed. He committed himself to serving people. People service profit is the moniker. People service profit. He put a lot of Black folks. He helped a lot of Black folks. It's kind of like FedEx was what Ford was to Detroit back in the day. Fred Smith was our Henry Ford down here. He put FedEx. I worked at FedEx for one summer doing my home from college. I quit, and they called it a plantation. A lot of us worked at that. A lot of Black folks worked in the plantation, still do. But I remember, like, FedEx hub was at the airport, right? And people be late for work, and so people kept on getting all these speeding tickets over there. The workers, the Black workers, for the most part, would be driving, because you got to drive to the parking lot, park your car, and get a shuttle bus to take you to the hub, to the actual hub site. But you park your car across the street. And people used to get a lot of speeding tickets. And Fred Smith made a phone call. Got no more speeding tickets over there. And he was able to get to work. Even if he was late, he was able to get to work without a speeding ticket, from my understanding. But Fred Smith helped a lot of people. A lot of black people got helped by Fred Smith. My mom worked almost 30 years for FedEx. He did a lot of things in community service and stuff like that. So this is not to demonize Fred Smith when I said those things, because it's actually documented. But what I'm saying is, do you feel that a black person would get the same type of benefits as Fred Smith to redeem him or herself? Because Fred Smith was like, he had money, he had connections, powerful connections. He Yale graduate, member of Skull and Bones, very close friends with George W. Bush, Bush Jr., also John Kerry. Had the resources to start this amazing multi-billion-dollar global enterprise. A lot of black folks, we don't have them type of resources. You understand? His father was one of the founding members of what is now known as Greyhound, and his father's company, Title House, became Waffle House. The people that was involved in Title House, they ended up forming Waffle House. So, I mean, Fred Smith came from privilege, but I'm sure he had the demons he had to deal with. But do you think a black person could have hit and ran and killed somebody back in 1974 and only got a $250 bond in America? This is down south. Think about Elton Hayes, who didn't even drive a car. He was a passenger in the car. This is a teenager from Orange Mound back in the early 1970s. This a couple years, several years before Fred Smith hit and ran. You had 40 law officers beat this man to death. Beat this boy to death. Beat this boy to death. You had 40 law enforcement officers, including a black sheriff deputy, involved in unaliving a teenager who did not drive a car. His friend drove the car that was his father's car and did it without his father's consent. So this is a couple years before Fred Smith hit and ran a handyman named George Sturgill. So what I'm saying is, I say all this to say he has done a lot of great things, but I saw that the New York Times talk about it in his obituary. I think the Washington Post talked about it, but he was able to redeem himself, with his company. Do you think any black person would have the chance? Do you understand that a lot of our ancestors, you had black folks that were killed for looking white folks in the eye. You had black folks that were put in mental institutions for not getting out the sidewalk for little babies, little white babies. I mean, elderly folk not getting out the sidewalk for a little white baby. We put you in prison. We put you in a mental institution. You reckless eyeball and you look at a white woman, we're gonna kill you. So this is the country. I'm just saying, like that Jerry Jones picture that came out. They showed him like he was at one of them black people trying to integrate a school in Little Rock or Arkansas. Got a young Jerry Jones, the owner of Dallas Cowboys. He's looking with the white mob that's intimidating the black people, trying to integrate with the good white folk. And then he said something that, he was just curious. He didn't deny that was him in the photo. He just said, I was just curious. Curiosity got 14-year-old Emmett Till killed in the 1950s. But curiosity inspires a Jerry Jones to own a football team that controls black men. But Emmett Till was not allowed to make it out the 1950s, unlike Jerry Jones. And I'm just saying, I'm gonna talk about this because, like I said, I have no ill will towards the legacy of Mr. Fred Smith. He did a lot for people, and in particular black folk in this city. But I think it's interesting that people say it's over for Diddy and any other black man, Shannon Sharp. Oh, it's over for them. But yeah, white folks save their people. They protect their own. So what I'm saying with the sister Tawana Murphy, and all I'm saying is that y'all give her some grace. She's an interesting person. She said a lot of controversial stuff. I mean, look who she was trained by, Thaddeus Matthews. And he's very much missed right now in Memphis. His voice, his journalistic gifts are missed right now. But give the sister some grace, man. I ain't the biggest fan, whatever, but I don't have no ill will towards anybody. But I'm saying, if y'all can celebrate white people that have missteps in their lives and you don't hold them account, you don't tarnish their whole legacy, give black people a chance. I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's strange to think about. But anyway, But enough of that. Like I said, Fred Smith helped my family. Several family members work for FedEx. I have gotten things because of my connection with FedEx. Matter of fact, when Fred Smith FedEx allow his employees to jump seat, my mom was helping me when I went to school in St. Louis. My freshman year, I was having a hard time adjusting, trying to utilize. I come from that Oregon Trail generation. I didn't grow up with the internet. The internet and all this stuff started coming in towards the end of my high school career. So when I got to school, I was kind of intimidated with the technology. But it was because of Fred Smith allowing his employees to jump seat. My mom, Dr. Callie Hurd, senior computer program analyst, would jump seat my freshman year, the fall semester. She would jump seat to St. Louis to teach me how to use the internet over the weekends. So I thank him for that. Like I said, this is not a bashing thing. I just want to hey, ease up onto one of y'all. Yeah, I give her some grace. She's trying. Lord knows she's trying. But anyway, but yeah, I just want to say that because people will misconstrue what I say on this thing, and they like to blame the messenger. They hate the truth teller. I got people around me that say they love me, but they hate me, and I can feel it because I'm empathic like that. But yet, I try to leave y'all alone, but y'all keep on trying to poke the bear. I'm trying to walk away, and y'all keep on trying to poke the bear. So with that said, God bless them. And I guess I don't know what else. Oh, because I ain't gonna be on here too long. But I guess I could just yeah, I want to talk about the Trump thing. I think Trump is brilliant. I think he's really brilliant, very brilliant, because he's doing things that's really stretching the imagination for me. I look at Donald Trump, I say he's like a part Abraham Lincoln, part Lucky Luciano, part P.T. Barnum, and part Don Rickles, with a little bit of sprinkling of Huey Long. And I think he's a very fascinating person. He is the greatest president of my lifetime. I was born and conceived during the time of Jimmy Carter. I got a lot of respect for President Carter, but Donald Trump is the one. He really puts Obama to shame. Before y'all think I don't care, Obama, I voted for him twice. I went to both inaugurations in the cold. I even got a $300 speeding ticket, speeding to go back to vote for him a second time because I was in Virginia. Got lost in the Blue Ridge Mountains. That's another story altogether. Man, I ain't think I was gonna be able to be seen again, getting stuck in the middle of the night in the Blue Ridge Mountains. But what I'm saying is, he pushed Obama to shame. Obama really, Trump is blacker than Obama. He's oranger than Obama. He's blacker than Obama because Trump, he survived RICO. He survived the felony counts. He survived RICO. He survived witch hunts and everything like that. He's been battle tested. Obama never been battle tested. Everything been basically handed to Obama. He's so disrespectful to black men. I'm not talking about black people. I'm talking about black men. I dare you keep on disrespecting us. We tired of your crap, man. You're not black enough. Kamala cosplay black better than you, dude. She cosplays black better than you. The only reason you got in because kind of like Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama was the black American native that got you into that White House. Without her, you would not have been at the White House, Barry, at all. Barry Soetoro, you would not been at that White House. And you know it. If you had married a white woman or a white man, you still would not have been in the White House. And the fact that Kamala Harris married to a white dude. See, that thing is, I won't. I don't care if you're purple. I want real black representation in my politics. I want real black American native representation in my politics. And I think Trump really is the closest that come to any of that. The fact that, I see a lot of these so-called black scholars and intellectuals talking about, oh, Trump is setting us back with the 14th Amendment. No, Trump is helping us get reparations. Trump is helping us get reparations. Trump is helping us get reparations because the 14th Amendment was for black people. A lot of things that y'all think is for everybody supposed to be for us only. Even affirmative action, according to President Lyndon B. Johnson, was for Black American natives. He did a speech at Howard University back in the day. You can look it up, it's online. Stop making everything for everybody. America was saved and founded by Black people. Some of the people that I named at the beginning of this broadcast, they are founding fathers. James Amistad Lafayette is a founding father. Peter Salem, Salem Poor, Crispus Attucks, they are founding fathers. Give respect to the Black men. There was a Black man who was recruited as U.S. colored troops that gave everybody the right to vote eventually. Black men picking up weapons to free themselves freed everybody. And yeah, everybody want to crap on Black men in 2025. Enough of this disrespect. Enough. And I'm demanding brothers to stand up for themselves and say, enough of this. We could walk away from this. We don't need this. They need us, but they won't say it. You need us, okay? This thing don't happen without us. Without our sacrifices and contributions, it doesn't happen. It don't. So the thing about it is with Obama, he was more concerned about being popular and liked than being right and just. And because of me, if you about the right things, a lot of times when you about the right stuff, you won't be liked. You won't be popular. But history will validate you, will redeem you. He want to be liked and hey, I think it's working now. Okay. I don't know. It went out. Hello? It's breaking up. Okay. I got it. See, I saw. Whoa. Let me see. Hello. Yes. See. Testing. Okay. I get another mic. But anyway, you talk about Obama. You talk about his oh my God. Eric Holder, not the one that got Nipsey. The one that tricked us, Eric Holder. You talk about him. I remember when he became Attorney General for Obama, he said if the nation cannot deal with the issue of race, we're a nation of cowards. Well, we are a nation of cowards. Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown, Tamir Rice, all this stuff has happened, and we have yet to deal with it. And it keeps on happening. And I don't want to march. It's too hot to march. Let you march into war. It's too hot to march just for, you talking about no justice, no peace. Basically, you canceling out your own thing. Your words create worlds. So you have no justice, no peace. Get you some peace of mind, and you can manifest your justice. Stop begging the devil for mercy. The devil is only qualified to give you more hell. But Trump, people say, well, why you like Trump? Because he gets stuff done. Whether you like it or not, he getting stuff done. He making people move. He making people pick a side. You can't have progress if folks can't commit to anything. So even if they're against Trump, so be it. Even if they're against whatever, no kings. Yeah, we know that this country don't want no kings because they killed Dr. King. They harass and terrorize Dr. King's family. We know they don't want kings in this country. Duh. We know that. So the thing about it is that you got to pick a side. And I want our people to stop looking for somebody to bail us out. I want us to start looking within to bail ourselves out. We are the saviors that we've been waiting for. You have the energy that resides in your temple to manifest what you want in this world. Reach for that energy. Create your world. Words create worlds. So my thing is, the Trump thing is not a problem. My problem is not having proper representation in this so-called system that advocates for Black American natives. We don't have real leadership in position of power. I'm in Memphis. We don't have Black American natives' interests represented in Memphis. We got a lot of Black people in gatekeeping positions, but we don't have Black leadership. We don't have a Black American native agenda because, quite frankly, if they help the 60-something% Black folks that live in Memphis, that helps everybody. Because traditionally what America does, they'll use us as a guinea pig for social justice and progress, and they'll take it away from us and give it to everybody else. So we back at square one. But what we got to understand is Just once we get our foot in the foundation in, we got to go full throttle. It's like what happened to Atlanta is that it was living off what Maynard Jackson and his people did. That was decades ago. Y'all living off past glories. That's why y'all got backdoored. Atlanta ain't Wakanda. It ain't, a chocolate city no more because they was caught sleeping at the wheel. They wasn't pushing. And, you got to start pushing. In Memphis, it's a gym. These high-tech hubs, they want to make it a high-tech hub and all that. But what benefits the majority of people that live here? The most criminal thing going on in Memphis is the undereducation of the brilliant and the gifted masses. You undereducating gifted and brilliant people. That's the problem with Memphis. Thank you so much. I'm glad. He said, we hear you. Your value has changed, at least not on my stream. Blessings and peace, Brother Ron. You've been dearly missed. Prayers for your healing and recovering. Well, thank you so much. I receive all that. But my thing is, time is coming. We got to pick some sides because undereducating people is a crime against humanity. Undereducating the majority of people that are gifted and brilliant and don't know that they're gifted and brilliant because they've been undereducated, because they've been groomed and indoctrinated to the soft bigotry or low expectations. That's a crime against humanity. And Memphis, they got to change. People keep talking, I'm gonna run and move here. No, because if you're not adding anything from where you're from, what makes you think you're going to add anything to where you go? Because really your reality is what you manifest and project. So if you're not adding anything where you at, and you expect to take that same mentality to go another place, and you say this other place ain't it either. It's not the places, it's you. It starts with you. Everything you want to see different in the world, you got to be the change for you. You got to change for you. You got to change yourself and your outlook and how you view things and how you show up in the world. That's what makes the difference. So my thing is like, I ain't looking for a lead like Obama. The fact that I'm gonna tell you what I thought about today. Let everybody know Obama ain't for black people. I went to his first inauguration. The queen of soul, Aretha Franklin, showed up and showed out. She had the church lady hat on and she was showing up. It was so cold that day, but her voice was so warm, had all that soul. It reverberated in all of DC. Aretha Franklin was known for having phobias about flying on airplanes. Somehow, some way, she got to DC for the inauguration and did her thing. When she became a righteous ancestor and they had her home going in Detroit, Bill Clinton showed up, but Obama didn't show up. And I think, around the same time, John McCain died. And I guess but damn, dude, Aretha Franklin, who had a fear of flying. Well, I don't know how she got there, but she made sure she got to your inauguration and showed up and showed out. And bro, you can't even come to her homegoing? You want to come to John McCain homegoing? Bum Iran. I guess Trump did bum Iran, right? Allegedly, whatever. But my thing is this, man, you can't read a room. You up here talking down to Morehouse College graduates. You're talking down to black men like we the most deadbeat in society, when society knows that when black men are involved in the upbringing of their children, re-raising dynasties. We talking about Joe Jackson. We talking about the Ball brother. We talking about King Williams, Serena and Venus Williams dead. We talking about Earl Woods. We talking about any black man that takes an interest in his seed and invests in his seed is a great man. And so for you to talk down to black men, whether it be graduation or Father's Day, we don't need you, dude. The hell you think you is, man? You not even black like us, bro. You ain't come through this thing here. You not black American native. You ain't come no shit. Your folks own slaves. I mean, you related to presidents and stuff. A lot of black folks, I guess, related to presidents. We got a lot of black folks named Jefferson and Washington and Jackson and Taylor and Smith and Brown and shit. We go, okay, whatever. But when you say you can't do nothing for black people, you do something for gay people, do something for immigrant people, legal and illegal, you do something for women, you do something for everybody but black people. We can't do nothing. But yeah, bro, you would not have been president without the black vote. And that's the lie they tell. They talking about Hispanic vote and white vote. No, it's the black vote. That's why they hate black folks so much. Because, like, why do we have to give these Negroes anything? Can they just vote just because? Because without black vote, you don't have the vote. That's why they want to try to replace us with illegals and stuff. And a lot of our silly black so-called representatives, like, I ain't gonna say their names, but they talk about silly stuff I can't relate to. Silly stuff that don't need to really be, and they go viral, and they got this huge mindless following of people. Some of this stuff ain't really important to be talking about, man. Because what Trump has done in the Supreme Court is basically laying the pathway for reparations. And this haven't started, no disrespect, FBA or A.L.L. The battle for reparations began as soon as the Civil War ended. The battle for reparations began. You got a woman named Callie House from Nashville, a former enslaved Black American native who was already organizing former slaves to get reparations from the government. And then they're trying to get her for mail fraud. And then her leader, some of her followers end up going into the United Negro Improvement Association with Marcus Garvey. People like Marcus Garvey, he's Jamaican, but he couldn't make it in Jamaica. He had to come to America. Black American natives helped Marcus Mosiah Garvey become the man he became. It was his pen pal, Booker T. Washington, the Wizard of Tuskegee, that was inspiring Marcus Garvey. It was A. Philip Randolph who gave him his first major speaking gig in America. It was the Black people of Louisiana that was his strongest support base in America. Black American natives in Louisiana. So don't tell me about Black people are lazy and shiftless. All these Black immigrants come over here and eat off of us. You got the nerve to talk about Black American natives. Brother, you don't know my story. Or you don't care to know it, but you want to benefit from my glory. And you ain't live the story. How you going to benefit from my glory and you ain't live the story, man? You know what I'm saying? Barack Obama, we deserve a president that was Black like a Marion Barry Black. A Maynard Jackson Black American name. It was the first Black American president, should have been the first Black American native president. And like, it's crazy. But this country won't do right until it do right by Black American natives. It's like you cannot not give us our stuff. You make movies about us. You make the movie Avatar about something purple, whatever. It's about all this stuff is about us. You talking about Israel. Okay. What about Black people? Y'all are like, Ye was crazy. Ye was revolutionary because he saw what was coming around the corner with this stuff. And y'all so afraid because y'all actually think y'all got white friends and allies. I don't have any white. These folks weird to me. They act like they my friends. They'll take pictures with me and stuff. And, I just gave the picture so-and-so. Why you didn't send me the picture? And you got stuff I could benefit from, but you won't send it my way? What type of friend is that? I don't need those type of friends. I just be by myself. So what it said is this is the point. Memphis is going to be a powerful place to come to. Mark my words, Memphis is about to blow up in ways that these folks have no idea because it's God's way. It's not about these so-called power brokers and gatekeepers. They don't have no understanding. They so out of tune with the times. It's ridiculous. But God's going to make a way for his chosen to show up and light up in this town, in this region. And I look forward to meeting the people that will be coming through this way to lead the way. Because if we could get Memphis right, Black America gonna get all their stuff. If you get Memphis right, then America for Black people will go right. Because Memphis is the birthplace for a lot of modern America. Like I said, FedEx, Piggly Wiggly, the first modern supermarket. Black radio was invented in Memphis, WDIA, October 25th, 1948. First Black radio programming in the whole country started in Memphis. Some of the first Black radio DJs from Memphis. B.B. King was a radio DJ at WDIA. Barbecue, modern barbecue. Henry Perry, he came from Memphis. He took at religion. Bishop Charles Mason, his remains interred in Mason Temple. And I promise y'all better not touch Mason Temple. Y'all burnt down Claiborne Temple. Y'all burnt down old East Trigg, Baptist Avenue, wherever you used to go listen to Dr. Brewster in there. But you better not touch no Mason Temple where Dr. King did his last speech and where Bishop Mason's remains are interred. It's going to be a problem. Them saints going to come march, I'm gonna spin the block on Memphis 7 times, gonna march on their head. I'm telling you that something like when I hear people talk about Memphis in a negative way, it's really funny to me because like ain't nothing really, it's not negative, it's energy. It's how you conduct the energy. If you want to do low vibrational stuff with the energy, then low vibrational stuff will be reciprocated. If you want to do some high vibrational stuff with the energy, then high vibrational stuff will be energy, it goes whatever way how you conduct it. And the thing about it is when the people get overeducated about what this place is and who they are, things will change. That's why they undereducate people in Memphis, because they want to beat you down where you can't feel like you can rise on your own. But you ain't rising on your own. You got the ancestors. You got universal soul God on your side. Just gotta access that energy and make it do what it do. But your mindset gotta be in a different way, and because you gotta break the indoctrination. Because most of the stuff is mental warfare, spiritual and mental warfare. So if you could break those chains in your mental and spiritual, only God knows how far you can go. So with that said, the thing about it is that you are the savior that you've been waiting for. There's nobody else coming saving you but you. I learned, it's been through Father's Day. Father's Day hit me different this year. I don't mind. I mean, I would like to have some children. Matter of fact, I would name one of my future children Memphis. I'm gonna name one of my future children, one of them Memphis. They're gonna have to carry that legacy. They're gonna be all right. But the thing about it is, I learned that my father, my biological, he wasn't there for me, man. He adopted another man's kids, 3 of them, and he ended up leaving them at one point. And I don't know the story behind all of that, why he left them while they was still kids. Where I'm at now in my life, I'm being the man that I needed in my life when I was a kid. I'm learning how to embrace that. I got to be the man I needed when I was a kid. I'm being that man. I'm showing up as that man right now. And it's tough on men. Like you could be a male. I see why some males don't want to be men. There's a society lacks an appreciation for men. It's like when anytime you never hear a man saying, I'm the mother and the father on Mother's Day. I never heard no man say I'm your mother and your father, right? But on Father's Day, everybody could be a father. Everybody. And on Father's Day, you could find a restaurant that be like popular, but then you have to have no reservations. You just walk in. Mother's Day, you can't. You be out of luck trying to find a place that you can walk in on Mother's Day without a reservation. Fathers are, you are expected to provide and protect and all that stuff. And who protects and provides and nourishes the psyche and the mentality of a brother who puts it out on the line. So fathers are very underappreciated, real fathers. And with that said, I'm a father of the We All Be movement. And like people ask me where I've been. It's like, man, people don't understand this commitment. Like, it's not just this, but like I have a way where I really want to show up and do a lot of good things. I really do more good things than bad things. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like, if I'm going to show up, let me add to the conversation. Let me contribute. But if I can't do that at a certain level, I don't want to show up, if that make any sense. I want to do more good than harm. But, it could be tough some days. Ain't gonna lie, it could be tough. Like, I want to do a broadcast. I think I talked about everything I said I was going to talk about in the title. Let me see. Yeah, for the most part, I talked about everything in the title, but how do I run for president? You know what? If I run, I want to run to win. That's a great question. Like, if I run for office, period, I want to run to win, because there's no participation trophies in real winning in politics. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I'm providing a public service right now as I speak. Things how I serve my towns and stuff like that. Something got to be different. I believe whoever runs, they can't run a traditional way. Like if you look at Memphis, for example, Memphis need unorthodox leadership at this time. They need something out the box, something that's not a part of any so-called well-established political party, something that's going to have to be nourished and maintained in unique ways. Memphis is interesting because, like, if you could reach the people that have disengaged, it's a lot of folks that have disengaged from Memphis political life or never engaged. But if you could find a way to help them imagine themselves a seat at the table, if you could find a way to help motivate and inform them and empower them to be a part of something that is unusual. The problem with Memphis, that's what I want to talk about. The problem with Memphis, we got a lot of preachers and churches, but they not reaching everybody. You got a lot of preachers, but they not really reaching people. And like, Memphis is weird because like when something happens, they always run into a pastor, like the news. Hey, well, pastor so and so. No disrespect on the pastors, but if they had the answers, we would be having these problems. Like if Memphis got all these churches, why is so much crime? But then you got to also think about it. Is that really a lot of crime? How much of the population is actually committing crime? Like the crime y'all tell me y'all afraid to come to Memphis to. That's going on everywhere else. It's less than 2 to 1% of the population. So you mean the majority of us should live in fear for a marginalized percentage of people that's actually going out their way to undermine? The thing about it is the system encourages the people to commit these things, and we're gonna have to cut out that right now. We're gonna have to cut it out, and that's everywhere. But I'm saying, like in Memphis, they encourage these people to commit these type of atrocities by design. Like I talked about the police officer telling us at our residence that they give the juveniles 19-point system. They get 19 tries to commit a crime or to do a crime before they get any serious persecution or prosecution, whatever. And that was crazy. And that was a couple of years ago. And I see the police, they are very afraid of some of the kids and the young people. They'll pull over law-abiding people. It's the law-abiding people that don't mind, or they do mind, but it's the law-abiding people that get pulled over to get the citation. But they see somebody doing donuts in the expressway and all this stuff, and there's blazing music and being young. They don't do nothing a lot of times. I guess they want to make it home that day or that night or whatever. But things got to change, man. Dr. King died here. He didn't die here in vain. Things got to change. And so Black Man, the least assisted group. I feel that way. I feel that way because nobody talks about black men. I mean, look at it's like I talk about mothers and black mothers and black fathers. Like if you're a mother, even if you didn't raise your kid, it's something about moms, right? That kids got a soft spot for. But fathers, a lot of rage against fathers. And you might have a good reason why you was not in your kid's life or whatever like that. But I see a lot of men are in nursing homes. They're relatively young guys that are in nursing homes. Or a lot of some men I know, they decent brothers, but they wasn't there for their kids. So they get of age, they need assistance and their kid's not there. And so, sometimes you feel like, okay, it is what it is, man. But to say Frederick Douglass said it best, he says, easier to raise strong children than it is to repair broken men. There's a lot of broken brothers out here, and it's by design. And we really got to help ourselves and help each other as men, especially as black men. We got to be accountable to ourselves and to each other and to lift each other up in these type of times, man, because it's hard. It really is hard. I'm speaking as a black man because I had a conversation with a young lady. She was talking about how they said that a lot of black men don't respect women with accomplishments. 'Cause, black women are some of the most educated people in America, right? And they were like a lot of black women, or some black women allegedly believe, according to social media, that a lot of us as black men are intimidated by educated, accomplished black women. And I'm saying myself, I got a master's degree. I'm well read to a degree. I'm not intimidated by no well educated, accomplished black woman. I just want her to respect me like I'm going to respect her. But if there's no respect to be gained, I don't have time for her. It's about, a man, as you get a certain age as a man, my peace of mind is more important than a piece of ass. Once again, my peace of mind is more important than a piece of ass. My peace of mind is more important than a piece of ass. That's how I look at it. So that's what it is. Because a lot of me in my solitude, I spend a lot of time by myself, just reflecting and meditating and just being out of people's way and minding my black business. But sometimes I, like talk about stuff on here and stuff like that. But it is what it is. But with that said, I guess I'm about to slide on out here, y'all. Y'all been a great captive audience for the most part. Thank y'all for tuning out to tune in and get in when you fit in. Just want to come in and share some thoughts about some things. I don't really have no plan, no structure. I just let it flow, let it flow, let it flow. You know how it go. But thank y'all. Like the words from Brother Herb, please spread the word. Support the movement. We 18 years strong, but we all be media. So you know how y'all do it. That's how y'all support. We all be Cash App. That's $R2C2H2. PayPal and Zelle, R2C2H2 at gmail.com. Vimo at R2C2H2. Apple Cash, 901-299-4355. And patreon.com/we all be. So we all be in it to win it. Thank you all. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to think about, but get y'all some rest in between the thinking and the action, because we all be in it to win it. The words of Great Skeleton, we love you madly. And in the words of Brother Ron, keep on producing and pushing. And okay, Brother Tyler, see what you're saying. He said, a woman is not going to respect a man that the world doesn't respect. She's being told through media, marketing, movies, music, news that black men are not to be respected. She's programmed, and that's right. So this is why it's important to support the things like what I'm doing here, we all be, and other people are doing to push back, to be the counter narrative. We got to control the narrative. We got to manifest our reality, and we got to stand our ground when it comes to us being respected and push back on that. Thank you, Brother Tyler, for that insight. And thank you all. And to all, a good night. One love. Can you dig it?